My name is Damon Rozier. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I've been in a wheelchair 14 years. I had a motorcycle accident. It was an average day. Got up, I went to the event, and I spoke to a gang violence school. This school was plagued by a lot of gangs in the Queens area of New York. After we left the event, we went to a restaurant to have lunch. And when I left, instead of making the left, I made the right. When I made the right, I went down the block just so I could come back up the block doing a wheelie and standing on the seat of the bike. So when I did that, you know, we all do dumb things that don't really realize that it's going to change our lives in a dramatic way. Because if I'd have made the left instead of the right, I would probably still be walking right now. And then a beautiful young lady, because I seen her in the car, she made an illegal U-turn, did not look to the right. She clipped the bike. I could not bring the bike down fast enough due to the fact that I was on one wheel. So when I got hit, the bike went up, I went up. For some apparent reason, I came down first. The bike landed on my head and snapped my neck in two places, leaving me chest down paralyzed. All I can remember hearing was the doctor say to someone else, not to me, to someone else, you know, he'll never walk again. Now, prior to me being injured, I was a hairstylist and I was a dancer. This is the things that I love to do every day of my life. As a grown man being injured, you don't know what to think at this point. Because we've all seen people in wheelchairs, but we never really place ourselves in their situation. I was about to be placed under the most mental and physical change of my life. My body was shut down, so they had to slice my throat and put a trach in. And that's what it is. I hate to make it sound so graphic, but if I don't make you really understand, then you really won't understand. I laying in my bed and I told my mother, I said, "Mom, you know, all the years that I've been on this earth, I've been through a lot. You know, as a child, I messed around with the drugs and got locked up, spent 2.5 years in the penitentiary. It was like, what more am I supposed to do in this society? I came back out and put myself back together. Now, here I am, laid up in the hospital bed, chest down, paralyzed, not able to walk another day in my life. So I told my mother, I said, "Mom," I said, "I don't want to do this. I said, I don't want to live this life. This life is not for me. I'm tired. I want to go." She said, "If you do something to yourself, you might as well kill me with you. You are my last child." I'm like, "Mom, that was really wrong of you. I'm supposed to be dealing in my little self-pity situation right now. How are you just going to interject and try to make me feel even worse?" They had the IV hooked up to my arm, and I flipped the switch to let the blood flow out instead of the IV going in. And I just watched it drift in. I just laid there and I said, you know, this is not painful. I'll just drift off, and no one would ever know. Fortunately, the nurse came in and found that I did what I did, and they taped me up. "No, this is not what you're going to do." Needless to say, I had to reevaluate my life because I really didn't want to go, because I understood that I was blessed enough prior to my accident to have 2 children. I have 2 sons. Right now they're 15 and 16 years old. When I first got hurt, they were 1 and 2. And all they cared about was that Daddy was still here. I wanted to be the sole entity of my kids' life to understand that my kids would see that as long as I fought for my life, they would have no other choice but to fight for theirs. What if I tell you that I'm a single father of 2 teenage boys? What if I tell you that I've pushed in 8 New York marathons since I've been injured? Don't clap yet. Oh no, it's gonna get deeper. Yes, it is. What if I tell you I played wheelchair softball for the New York Yankees? I've been sponsored on Yankee Stadium field ever since I've been playing. There's some walking people who have never set foot on Yankee Stadium field. What if I tell you that I drive my own car? What if I tell you that I teach aerobics every Wednesday and Friday and no one in my class is in a wheelchair? What if I tell you that everybody walks in, sits in a chair like y'all sitting in right now, and does an exercise that I designed for people in wheelchairs, but I could not get the level of my chairs out there, and people came in and embraced the exercise that I made up and started working out? What if I tell you right now, after 14 years of being in a wheelchair, I started doing comedy 8 years ago. Right now, I am ranked the #1 comedian in the country in a wheelchair. Come on, now y'all put it together for that. Now y'all put it together for that.